chak tugul ko jim ona la ni min suge e gudum su ku focus e likwe lanvin ne lo likwe lanvin ne ku focus kigan na ni tagi nen ki mai be e en chel lumen kablun wa na gajum ne ku focus lo wanan yenga lo boxing mun yoga sai wa kin sa tuma se luya ne sen lo akete sunu lama makale. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, dear followers of Oku Focus. You are highly welcome again to this platform that is aimed at bringing to you information on development, and culture, and other aspects of our community. This evening, we have a very special guest of the week, and of course, he is with me here, and he has done just a lot for the Oku community, though you have never seen him through this platform. But I believe you are very fortunate to have him this evening. It is a privilege that he's going to be talking to thousands of you out there from wherever you are following. And so please, if you are joining us now, please just help and share the video so that our brothers and sisters from Elab Uku, our brothers and sisters from USA, our brothers and sisters from Yaoundé and Douala are going to know what is actually happening. They say in Uku, welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So, you're highly welcome to Oku Focus.
Thank you.
All right. So, we'd like to know your name and where you come from.
Yes. I should say first, Gemini.
Yes, Gemini.
Gemini. I should say. So I am Matthew Fatak, Dr. Matthew Fatak. I'm from the University at Buffalo in the United States, in New York State. And I am a linguist, the science of languages. I want to basically do what I can to collaborate and assist with basically promoting the Oku language and culture within the Oku diaspora, within Oku itself, and also anywhere else that Oku people might be, yeah, and to promote generally to other people. Through sound, mainly through sound. So Oku in Focus is nice because it focuses on video and sound, and instead of writing, for example. So I'm all about the spoken word. So I want to do more of the spoken word work with the Oku people. You might see me again on this channel someday. I don't know. Yeah.
Thank you very much. We're going to see you again, but we'd like to know from you. You see, in Cameroon, we have so many communities. Why did you choose Uku? And we know that back there in America, maybe you do your things in a different way. Why do you choose Africa? Why do you come to Africa? Why do you come to Cameroon? And why do you choose to promote the Uku language?
Well, it's quite funny in that way. So my linguists pick the languages they work on. Sometimes it's by convenience. So sometimes we pick the language that's next to us. So that would have been English for me, but that's not very exciting. So the next thing that the next choice that they usually have is you can take a map and yeah, you can take a dart and throw it at the map. And you can see where it will. Okay, yeah, it's still going. Okay,
it's going.
But you can pick randomly in that way, right? You can like I said, you can throw a dart at the map, and so some people could do that. But really, when we study languages, we're interested in certain things, right? We're interested in certain things, and one of the things that we're always interested in is some, I don't know, meaning or structure or something that the languages have in common. And so you can pick in that way too. But I didn't pick that way either. What happened was that my professor in graduate school, Larry Hyman, he happened to be working on Kom. And he'd also worked on Oku as well, and a little on Babanki. And so I just sort of asked him one day, do you know anyone I could work with? And he knew some Kom people in the United States, and that started me in. So from there, it's been the neighbor languages, all close together in that mountain area in the Northwest, is what I've been focusing on since at least 2014, actually.
All right.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. So this program is actually benefiting Kom, Babanki, and Uku. and who knows, other communities might equally benefit.
Maybe.
We have so many people watching online and equally commenting there, as you can see. Thank you so much for coming. Now, we are so grateful that you have chosen to work with the Uku community. What are the objectives behind this project?
There's two objectives. So one is that I always want to try to give back in some way. There are too many scientific projects that will parachute in. People will use the word parachute even. They parachute in and they get the information that they need, and then they go, and you never hear from them again. And the people who worked with them don't really get any benefit. That's not what I want to do. It's not what my colleagues really want to do anymore, the ones that I'm working closely with on this project. So I have colleagues at Lacan in Paris, which that'll be Dr. Pius Akumbu, who is Babanki. And then I have Prof. Ivo Njvasa as well, who is a com man who works at the University of Buea. So these colleagues we want to make sure what we're doing has multiple uses. The stuff that we're collecting, we want to make sure it has multiple uses, and we want to make sure that it benefits the community. So it seems like recording speech, especially about traditional cultural stuff, is very important as a first goal. My goal, the scientific goal of the project, is to understand the way that when people are making their speech, the way that they're moving their throat and their lips and their tongue is very complex. Actually, it's one of the most complex things that the human body can do, is making speech.
Exactly.
Because we do it all day, we do it constantly, and we never do it the same way twice. So that's one reason to focus on speech. So I want to focus on the analysis of the speech. I want to look at, in detail, how are the sounds coming out? How do they change when you're speaking just from your mind, when you're speaking spontaneously, as opposed to when you're reading? For example, if someone just puts the Oku New Testament in front of you and you try reading from that, it will sound very different from if you're just speaking with someone.
Yes.
So these are some of the things that we're interested in working out. What are the differences like? And each one of these languages that we're hoping to work with, Oku, but also Babanki and Kom, they'll have a different way of handling this because they have different sounds. The speakers are all a little different. Everyone's history is a little different. And so just what there is to understand is that there's really so many ways that the human body can be producing speech like this. And so that's the goal of the analysis. But it's always two approaches when I'm coming to do work like this. I want to be sure that something goes back to the Oku people, the Kom people, the Babanki people, and I want to be sure that the scientific purpose can also be met. That is my day job.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. We have understood the objectives, and of course, many people watching us right now, they are wondering how you want to work on about a language we don't master. Do you master the Oku language?
Not yet.
How
No.
then do you think you can work with the Oku language?
Well, first of all, I will learn some.
Okay.
That's part of it, and I know some Kom.
It's interesting.
Already. Yeah.
When I came here, I know that when I came here, when I said Babe in Oku,
I know that means Bobe.
It's Bobe.
I know that means Bobe, exactly. I can say
Bobe.
So I can easily say Bobe tu line man. Very easily. That's easy.
And in Oku you say Babe Tragi Yomuna.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so
see,
that's
that
how
one
you
I
say.
don't know.
Yes, that's how you say.
But basically, I have to rely on the community in making sense of this. I have to rely on the community. So actually, eventually, I'll be having people help me translate. Basically.
Yeah. Coming to my next question, I was about to ask, what exactly do you expect from the community? How can the community help to facilitate the project you have?
Creativity. People just need to be creative. People need to think of how they could be speaking Oku or speaking Kom or speaking Babanki. And people need to be thinking of, if I'm using English here, could I be using Oku? Can I express myself in that way in Oku? Because in order to get the amount of material that we need, the goal is to get quite a lot of sound, So the goal should be if I should be able to put people down at a table, or whoever's managing should just be able to put people down at a table and say, talk in Oku, and record for a while. And I don't want people to think this is so formal. There's microphones and everything. I don't want to look at this and think, oh, well, I must speak English because of this place that I'm in. I want people to eventually, I want them to feel free. I want them to be able to use Oku in that position. And so if I'm promoting something in doing this project, I hope I can also promote that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, let us come back. What they're trying to promote nowadays, our values, that is the tradition, culture, they're almost dying.
Yeah.
And Africa, not only Oku, there are some communities that are actually forgetting their culture, forgetting their language. You have come to remind us that our languages are actually very important. What can you say to those people who don't want to speak their language? Because you see, some people have mastered French, some people have mastered English language, and they are ashamed to speak the dialect in public. They don't want to express it anywhere. So what can you tell those people?
Well, I want to say to some of them, first of all, that it's not your fault. Sometimes. I mean, the systems that lead people to not know how to fully speak a language like Oku, they're not totally within a person's control. When we talk about languages becoming endangered, it almost never happens because people decide to stop speaking the language. It's because society makes it difficult for them to speak the language.
Exactly.
And so if you've been displaced and you've moved to a francophone area, well, of course, you're going to be able to speak less Oku. You might speak it at a meeting that you go to. You go to a dance group, you might speak Oku. You play in Jangi, you may speak Oku. But if you're going to the market, how can you speak Oku if you're not an Oku? That's the sort of thing. So the system that exists right now, it just makes it so difficult for some people to speak Oku. So to those people, I want to say, if you are trying, then you're doing the best you can. But the motivations have to be clear too. There must be some people who are speaking less Oku just because they think it's a cultural difference thing.
Yes.
And again, the promotion of Oku. I like the idea of the promotion of a language like Oku because it gives more people the idea, hey, I can really speak this in these places if I want to.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, is there a particular thing that will benefit? Are there particular advantages we'll have if we master to speak and read our local languages well?
That's complex, but I can comment on advantages in writing. I can say that I'm qualified to say one specific thing about writing, which is that if you can write the language down in a systematic way, then this is one way actually that it will be possible for me to work with the language, even if I haven't totally mastered it. If I can look at the writing and say, oh, if somebody speaks this, it'll come out this way, and I know exactly how it will come out. That'll help a lot. People who are learning Oku, even Oku people learning Oku, who might not have the best command of it and they're just trying to refresh the Oku, right? If you can look at the writing and understand how it's pronounced, that's really good, actually, as a learning skill. It really helps, I'm sure. But basically, I want to say this particular thing, what are the advantages of knowing Oku?
Yes.
When should you use Oku? This is something that I'm really not the expert on. This is something that ultimately falls to the community. And I think my job is to do what I can to facilitate. It's not necessarily to come down and say, hey, you should do this, you should do this. Exactly. So I don't want to do that, certainly.
All right, now let me come back to the Uku. You have been meeting the Uku people, you have been meeting the Kom people, Babang people, and other tribes in Cameroon. How do you look at them? Their welcoming nature. Do you feel good?
I feel very comfortable. Yeah, people have been very good to me. Yeah.
All right.
Maybe too good to me. I'm sure I'm doing something that's accidentally very offensive. I'm sure. Maybe I'll put my foot up accidentally, and people have just been very forgiving with me. I've learned not to eat with my left hand, for starters. But people have been very forgiving with me, and I'm getting my footing as someone who can get along with people in the traditional settings in Cameroon a little bit, and people have been very, very patient with me, and I appreciate that. And I have to say I appreciate everyone does kati kati at the meetings, right? Surely kati kati the chicken, huh?
Yeah. So what is your best meal in Cameroon here?
I do like a good roasted fish. But I have to say kati kati and vegetable and fufu corn is also very good. And it's because if I go to a meeting somewhere, I know that will be there.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
it is the main thing that
Exactly.
we eat here in our traditional ceremonies.
Exactly.
The kati kati, as raw as it is with fufu corn, is what is well enjoyed by the community.
Yeah.
And so thank you so much. As you know, Ugu has a rich culture. Ugu has a rich tradition.
Oh yeah.
the people are actually very communal and they are welcoming, as well as the people of Com and Babanki.
Yeah.
We have a number of comments coming from the comment section.
I like that one.
Those.
I like that one that I see right there, which is that some expressions work best in the language, the local language, or the language that they come up in. I do kind of agree with that. There's some English expressions that are very sharp, and they're very good. And then there's some Oku expressions probably that are very good for certain things. And there's some sayings in Oku that have no equivalent in English. And there's some English sayings that have no equivalent in Oku.
Exactly.
The answer is, when you're trying to figure out what language to use, I guess the answer is always more. Yeah. So yeah, for creativity, definitely multilingualism is good.
All right.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, and thank you so much for being our guest this evening. And we hope you are going to have a better stay with the community, and we hope God is going to bless you, and your project will move well and will benefit our community. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, your culture remains your first identity. Your culture is what you should take first, and language is part of your culture. Therefore, you shouldn't forget where you come from. Always try to learn your language, speak it, teach your children, because it is the first thing we have to be very proud of. If someone like him can cross so many countries, cross so many states, to come to Cameroon and remind us, the Oku people, about our language, we should know how valuable and important it is. Therefore, if you're an Oku man anywhere, feel proud to speak your language. Make sure you learn it better and teach the younger ones. Let the language not die, because if it dies, then we too are gone. Now, what is your last word to the followers of Oku in Focus?
I want to say I agree with you. And I want to say, any of the indigenous languages of Cameroon or anywhere else in the world, you should feel happy to speak your language. I want you to feel happy to speak your language. As someone whose research is based around diversity of languages, it's so important for us to see this, right? And just because my project is on these few languages that I'm zeroing in on, it doesn't necessarily mean, that someone who speaks Lamtsok or something, hello Lamtsok people who may be watching. It's not that your language is any less interesting. Yes. It's simply that I'm sure there's a proverb about this if you look around, but you can't do everything or you'll accomplish nothing.
All right.
So that's it. But what I hope to accomplish is specific, and I hope to have some fruitful work in the coming months.
All right.
Yeah.
It is an interesting project. Now, before we leave, how do they say good evening in your own language?
Well, good evening.
Okay, English.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Exactly.
Because thank you very much. It's good evening. And so before we leave, we would like you to remind again our listeners, our followers, your full names and where you come from. Again, we'd like to should remind them your full names again.
Oh, me, yes. Of course. Yeah. No, my name is Matthew Fatak.
Matthew.
And Mathieu or Matthew, yes.
Either. That is Professor Matthew.
Professor Matthew Fatak.
Yeah, Professor Matthew.
And I am at the University of Buffalo in Buffalo, New York, in the United States.
All right. Thank you so much, Professor Matthew,
no problem,
for coming right away from US to talk to us. And ladies and gentlemen, followers of Oku in Focus, it was a great pleasure having a great person like him who can remember us. Us, the Oku people, we should be proud. And I want to say that I got from the OCDA president of Douala, that Mr. Lenjo Rejoice, that Professor Matthew has been doing a lot, and he's staying connected to the Oku people to see how he can do great things for us. And we only wish and plead that as an Oku man, wherever you find yourself, when such initiative comes, let us give right directions. If you are seated in your house one day and we want to interview you, you should be ready to welcome us, because it is to help the present generation and our future generation. Thank you so much for watching this program from any part of the world. We appreciate you. Keep on following Oku in Focus, and equally follow us on YouTube for more news on culture, developments, and entertainment. My name is Queen Nathaniel. I have my special guest, Professor Matthew, right from USA, and we are saying bye-bye to all of you. And of course, we shall always be coming up to talk to you when it is necessary. Bye-bye, and stay safe.
Evening.
All right.